Come on hard, Burlington. Come on, boys.
I feel like I'm getting rid of
Hey. Well, you can do that one. I thought it was for him. I was thinking of him as the PA guy. No, there is. You could take that and plug it into the back of the speaker. That XLR mic right there. There's an XLR cord over there that you could just plug it into the cord. So are you getting anything at all?
It's coming from up there, Mike, because your voice came out way clearer than mine. Like, would we, you're kind of in the middle of something right now, but is there anything we can do?
It's saying in settings that it's getting it from USB audio. Let's see.
I mean, you sound great, I'll tell you that.
I sound great?
Yeah, I can hear your voice very clearly.
Go, control it, Burlington.
Yes, yes, yes.
I can operate the
Just a second. I'm going to come down there. You can talk right. I'll stand here with this as a monopod. I'm telling the world our plans. Okay.
We're gonna go like this, yeah? All right, let me audio test from here. Audio test after a big chance where they really should have scored. Unorthodox audio setup. We'll see how this sounds.
Stand.
Yeah, can I like?
Yeah, you can stand right here. Somebody said,
Okay.
please try to hold the camera steady. I'm getting sick.
Come on, got it down.
Okay.
All right. Well, good evening, folks. This is a rather unorthodox streaming setup here we have. We are not at Burlington United FC's normal home stadium, which is McPherson Stadium at Bryant Park. Instead, we are
Springwood Park.
Burlington proper, yes, Springwood Park. My camera operator slash impromptu broadcast partner Mike is here standing next to me. I've never really broadcasted exactly like this, but
Me neither.
we thank you. I see the chat member telling us we can hear, so that's wonderful. So we will get underway, business as usual. We are in the opening minutes of an MPSL matchup here between Burlington United, our hosts, of course, the home team, and Bristol Rhythm FC. We are right here along the sidelines. It's a very interesting perspective right among the fans. There's a nice fan gathering here, a lot larger showing than what we had our last home game, which, by the way, we haven't had a home game in quite some time. Last time Burlington United hosted an opponent was the end of May. And as I speak here, Bristol City break open the defense, looking for an opportunity. Nice tackle by defender Trias. Bristol City asking for a foul call just outside the box, nothing doing from the center referee. Burlington United in their black home uniforms with blue. Bristol Rhythm, they're wearing white with some purple. Two colors of Bristol United are purple and yellow. Corner kick here. Great work from the left back, Ariano, to win Burlington United their first set piece of the day. First corner kick for either side. It's taken short. It's out to Thompson, who's out wide. Curling effort with the right foot. Bundled and then eventually reeled in by the Bristol City goalkeeper. Bristol City now looking to build. They've got a three-back look here. Their current formation aligns themselves something like a 3-5-2 or a 3-5-3. It's very fluid. Ball over the top here down the right line. Plenty of space for the Bristol City right winger. Half volley cross, it's just too high. Really nice idea for the ball. Runner at the back post was available for the header, but just a few inches, only skimmed off the top of his head. Let's back up a little bit. Bristol City has dominated the run of play so far. They've had what would be a golden opportunity. It was a ball squared across goal. Goalkeeper John Patno was beaten, but a wonderful goal line clearance has kept the score at 0-0 so far today. Burlington United have had a couple shots on net. None particularly challenging for the Bristol Rhythm goalkeeper. Not sure if that was a ball through attempt for Clayton Vernon or if it was a potential shot. Either way, it goes out for a goal kick for Bristol Rhythm. Bristol Rhythm, a team, of course, from Bristol, Tennessee. That's a city on the border of Tennessee and the western edge of Virginia. So not the state of West Virginia, but just the western part of Virginia. The name Bristol Rhythm coming from the city's history of country music. Opportunity potentially here for Burlington United. Half volley and it's in! Burlington United take the lead. Beautiful work from the striker, Thompson. Fashioned a snapshot with the half volley and found the near post lower corner. Beautiful finish from a chance that looked like it might have gone after his first touch took him into the path of a defender. And Burlington United have a lead for only the third time this season. Diego Thompson, the goal scorer, it's his third of the season. He leads Burlington United in that category. Thompson from Rome, plays at Elon University, he's a rising sophomore. And Burlington United off to a good start, hoping for their first victory of the season. First victory in team history. Vasconcelos with the ball down the line. Space, really good turn. The return ball to Vasconcelos did not make it. My apologies, that might have actually been Thompson. Ball to the top of the box. Volleyed attempt by Gomez. Did not make it towards the goal. Now Bristol Rhythm can break. Ball through, it's cut out well by Manuel Trias. Trias, the ever-present center back. He started 6 of the 7 games so far this season for Burlington United in total 540 minutes. He has not missed a minute of any of the games he played. Bristol City with the square ball across, cleared away for Bristol's first corner kick of the game. And you can clearly see Bristol know how to get that ball forward and into the box. 3 or 4 instances of a square ball into the danger zone for Burlington United. Nothing coming of it yet. In swinging left-footed corner here, right on top of the keeper. Patno punches away. Back out wide here for Bristol. Player on the ball goes down. That was Bristol Rhythm, number 11. Apologies, number 10. I think that's Matt Lengiel, midfielder from Hungary. I wouldn't dare attempt to pronounce the name of his hometown. Plays for Milligan University, an NAIA school. Many players from Milligan on this Bristol Rhythm roster. Clearance from Verdon. The exciting young left winger. Now Bristol Rhythm will look to recollect. Burlington United, tight defensive stance. Not a lot of space, maybe 20 or so yards between the striker and the back line. Player from Bristol Rhythm is down. He's holding his face. Play continues. Beautiful pace down the left. Ball into the middle space. Will there be a shot? Yes, save Patno. Cleared away, but Bristol continue to press. Burlington haven't seen the ball in about 5 minutes here. Those watching this game would be rather surprised to say that Burlington are leading this game. Nevertheless, it's always about putting the ball in the back of the net. Have to be able to convert your opportunities in order to secure 3 points. Still a lot of soccer to play. Maybe 15, 20 minutes or so into this match. We don't have an official clock. Ball comes right towards the broadcast. I use my soccer skills in order to make the stop.
Nice save.
Thank you very much. I'll protect the camera, Mike. Bristol right back in the action. Ball down the line here. Looking for a square ball. It will come. Nice pace, but right into the arms of Patno. Let's talk a little bit about Burlington United's season so far as Patno holds on to that ball. 7 games in, 0 wins, 1 draw, 6 losses. That puts them at the bottom of the Southeastern Conference in the NPSL. Bristol Rhythm sitting in 5th, 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. That gives them a total of 7 points to Burlington United's 1. Interesting thing about this table for the Southeastern Conference is it's purely based on points per game, and because not every team has played the exact number of games as every other team, you can actually find yourself as a club below other teams in the table that have less points than you. So Bristol Rhythm, sitting at 7 points, is actually above Greenville United, who have 8. And that's because Greenville United has played 1 more game. So their points per game is actually slightly lower. Burlington United can draw level with 865 Alliance in points if they do come away with a victory. However, they would still be below 865 Alliance in the table because of that points per game tally. 865 only played 6 games up to today, Burlington United 7. Last time out, Burlington United, it was the 14th of June. It was a 1-3 loss to Appalachian FC, so they're looking to bounce back. They've done a good job so far defending valiantly. Here's Burlington United with a set piece. 40 or so yards out, it's going to be a left-footed delivery here. Floated into the box, and that'll be easily collected by the Bristol goalkeeper. Still looking for the quick counter. Too much on the ball. Patno will collect.
Get up position. Get up position. Sit in.
I'm collecting information on the Bristol Rhythm starting 11. I can provide the Burlington United starting 11. As Bristol are back in control of the run of play. They're possessing in over third, tangle of legs, provides a free kick for the visitors. Lots of talking between the Bristol Rhythm players. Looks like they're trying to agree on a plan forwards. Really interesting mix of players that Bristol Rhythm have. They've got a lot of representation from England in the form of James Baku, Kai Sling. Also Callum Hudson from England as Verdon pushes forward for Burlington United. Nice moves, right-footed shot, too much on it over the net.
He needs a
Silky
battery to
smooth
plug it
footwork from
into.
Verdon. Give himself a shooting opportunity, however,
This one would be better.
the form on the
Once he
shot was a
plugs
little bit rushed and he kind
The
of flipped
speaker
it
into this. He
well
can use
over
those
the
microphones.
crossbar.
Okay. So you want me to use this one? Or
You
is
can
it-
take that one because
Goal kick here,
we're not going to be able to use it.
Bristol Rhythm.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
I was trying to figure out how to get that information to him.
They choose to go short and then provide a long through ball over the top. There was a runner, but the cover was there from Joe Hurley. Burlington United back on the defensive. Another through ball down the line. Ariano is there to cover. A lot of running here from the Burlington United defenders. Bristol Rhythm trying to play direct, hasn't quite worked out for them yet. Throwing here on the near side. Wonderful footwork, and the cross comes in. Not a lot of power. Cleared away to Verdon, and Bristol back on top. Lazy ball into the middle, cleared away. Well done by the striker Thompson to use his body, but eventually comes back to Bristol, bouncing around in the midfield. Burlington on the ball. Losing it is Jackson Marshall in a critical position. Can Bristol capitalize? Space in the middle here, 3-on-3. Wide left, shot coming. And it's another near miss for Bristol. Wow. That's 2 extremely clear-cut opportunities, as obvious as it gets, for a square ball and an easy finish. And the final touch just has not been there. Bristol easily could be 2-1 up here. Burlington United, but fluffing their lines in surprising, nearly astonishing fashion. Burlington takes it out of their own defensive half. Ariana couldn't find the ball forwards. Now they switch play. Hurley under pressure. Vasconcelos gives to Trias, who switches it back to Ariana. Forward here, but Freddie Gomez Harris gives it away, and Burlington United really struggling here. Gomez goes down. Play continues. Out wide here. Cross is collected by Patno. Nice athletic grab by the keeper.
Smile.
Hello, everyone. First time showing my face on the broadcast. Thank you, Mike. That cross came in, by the way, from James Baku, one of the England representatives of Bristol Rhythm. He's playing on the right wing. In 2 seasons for Milligan University, Baku has played in 44 games, started them all. Pair of goals, 7 assists, including a game-winning goal.
Currents.
Not a bad set
You
of
can use my ladder
contributions
You can use my ladder if you want.
for a defender.
Thank you for offering
Spinning
help.
footwork down the left sideline for Bristol Rhythm. Cutting inside here. Can Bristol find a shot? Space on the right for Baku. Tries to square it, and it's blocked by Marshall. So Bristol will have another corner as they continue their hot pursuit. Bristol City looking to stay ahead of Greenfield United if they find a favorable result this evening. High ball to the back post, comes all the way through. I'll take this opportunity finally to provide the starting 11 for Burlington United. In goal, it's Patno. The back line from left to right is Ariano, Trias, Hurley, Vasconcelos. The 2 sitting midfielders are Valverde and Marshall. With Harris Gomez playing number 10. Floated ball here down the line. Verdon with space. He's got pace. Is he going to square it or shoot? He couldn't decide. Nice save by the goalkeeper, Lumale. And Bristol quickly taking it back the other way. End to end here, folks. Trias, well done to cut in front of the Bristol City attacker. Patno's pass is blocked, but it works out in the end. Bristol back on it. Verdon couldn't hold possession. The counter pressing here on display from Bristol City is very impressive. As soon as they lose the ball, they're right back on it with energy. They don't allow Burlington United any time to breathe on the ball. That constant pressure, however, can only last for so long. Players are exposed to some high temperatures out here in Burlington, so unless there are a bevy of subs coming Bristol's way, that high pressure will slow down over time. It's only a question of if Burlington can withstand that offside call on the ball over the top. That was Baku looking for Stooge Mbakani, the winger from Gaborone, Botswana, also plays at Milligan University, so there's a developed rapport there between the right back and the left winger. Back to the starting 11 here for Burlington United. The front 3 here are Clayton Verdon on the left, on the right, Alfaro, and up front, as we've talked about already, Diego Thompson, the goal scorer. Burlington United leading 1-0. Around halfway through this first half. Again, we don't have a clock available visually. We can only approximate the time. Bristol controlling in the midfield once again. Long diagonal ball over the top. Devin Bakani touches it down beautifully, but he's offside again. And Bakani clearly frustrated. Doesn't agree with the linesman's call. Nevertheless, it's a free kick for Burlington United, and more importantly, a time to breathe and recollect. Despite leading, Burlington United have not seen much of the ball. It's really all been Bristol Rhythm controlling the run of play, but they have not found the back of the net. Here's Gomez Harris. Loose ball at the top of the box. Can he find a shot? It's Thompson again. What a save! Lumale tips it onto the bar, saving his team from being down 2-0, which would be shocking considering what we've seen so far tonight. Credit to Lumale getting up and getting the hand on that shot. Thompson with a nice effort from the edge of the box. Here's Mbakani. He's in behind on the left side. Plenty of people in the box. Square ball, once again blocked. Well done by Trios. The center back pairing of Trios and Hurley holding strong so far for the Kingdom. Burden in space here. Well found by Gomez. Squaring up his defender one-on-one. This is what Burlington United wants. Burden looking for a teammate. Perez clips over the top. The ball was intended for Alfaro, the right winger. Defended well. The defender took a hard hit and is still on the ground. Goalkeeper Lumale asking the referee why there was no call made there. Referee will stop play. Did not see the number of the player who went down. Seems to be...
Make an apology while I adjust the tripod. Just tell him we'll see you. Shake your camera for a
Well,
minute.
my cameraman's adjusting the tripod, so you might see some shaking with the camera here and miss the view a little bit here while Burlington United set up for this corner kick. It's going to be a left-footed delivery here as we set back up. Opportunity for Burlington to double their lead. It's right on top of the goalkeeper who didn't come out. Shot opportunity, great save. Once again, it's Thompson testing Lumale, but Lumale proving equal, diving low to his right. That shot was well placed by Thompson, just didn't have the power to beat the keeper. Counter-attack cut out by Hurley, but Bristol looking to get back in it quickly.
Play it back. James!
Bristol staying slow for the time being. Little chip through ball into the box. Burlington swarming the ball. There's nowhere for the Bristol Rhythm attacker to go, but he does win a corner kick. Stuck in the corner there. I believe it was Grayson Hammond with his first start of the season. But it's hard to see the numbers, folks. I can't stress that enough. I'm working just on the numbers on the back of the jersey, so I can't be sure. Could have been Kai Slynn, number 8. In swinging corner here, Patno punches it away, still in the box. Referee blows his whistle, calls for a foul. Must have been a push on a Burlington United defender. So Bristol continue their frustrations in front of goal. They've got every piece of the puzzle except for the final piece. Meanwhile, Burlington United defending with all they've got. Looks like we've got a stop for a water break here, folks. I think this is a perfect opportunity to share with you the discussions I was able to have with the head coach here for Burlington United FC. As Coach Diego Walsh, and he's got a wealth of experience. He was a really personable man. I had a lovely conversation with him a couple hours ago. He was very generous with his time.
Great guy.
Can't agree more, Mike. He's a really, really great guy, and he's a perfect leader for this team. And he was sharing a lot with me about the difficulties that Burlington United have had this season. You know, when you're building a club from the ground up, there's a lot of hurdles, especially at the semi-professional level. One thing that he shared with me is that it's hard to find a time for everyone to practice together. Half this team is made up of college students who are available in the morning, and the other half made up of adults with jobs, with families who can only practice in the evening, and so it's hard to get everyone together at the same time. They do have one agreed upon training time on Wednesdays where everyone gets together, but you know, once a week is not really what you want when you're trying to make a group gel and build that chemistry as a whole, especially when other clubs are able to do a lot more. Diego also was telling me about the way the Hickory FC has their system set up. Everyone living together, playing together, eating together on a daily basis. That's just not something that Burlington United can do right now. Nevertheless, he didn't make any excuses. He didn't say that this is the reason why they've been struggling this season. One thing he did allude to was the fact that players come and go in this system. When times are tough, players will quit the team, and then you have to find new bodies to fill that roster. So dealing with that turnover is very difficult. Nevertheless, he remains hopeful for their first win, but he says, we can't force it. We have to let the win come to us. We have to stick to our mentality and our ways of building the club and building this team, and let the win come when it comes. That being said, I mentioned earlier, this is the third time that Burlington United have led a game. The other two times that Burlington United led were in their first home game, for which we streamed with myself present as the broadcaster. That was on the 28th of May. They led for 5 minutes from the 17th to the 22nd minute before eventually losing that game to a late penalty kick. They also led for 8 minutes on May 16th against Port City FC. They would eventually go on to lose that game 4-1. I think there's still a lot to be seen from this club, only 7 games into their very existence. No reason to be pessimistic about the early difficult results. Looks like the water break is coming to a conclusion. Players slowly making their way back onto the field. Take this time, I think, to provide you with the starting lineup for Bristol Rhythm finally. I will present them in the order that they were presented to me. So, of course, the goalkeeper, Gautier Lumale from Biscarrosse, France. He is in goal. He started 5 of Bristol City's 6 games so far this season. He's played every minute in all of those starts. The center backs, Ryan Suckling from Surrey, England. He plays at East Tennessee State University. His center back partner is Adam Kuhl. He's from the Isle of Man. That's an island between Great Britain, where England and Scotland are, and Ireland. Also in the defense is Callum Hudson, as well as the aforementioned James Baku. Other starters for Bristol City are Stujan Bakani, Kai Slynn, Mate Lengyel, Lewis Cole, and Stan Van Den Belt. Play has resumed here in Burlington, North Carolina. Clayton Verdon making moves into the box, looking for a player in the middle. Pass didn't have anything on it. It was well defended. Clearance comes to Ariana. He can cross it in with the left foot. Comes all the way through to Mbakani. Bristol City back under control. As I mentioned, the visitors have 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. So they're looking.
Number 6, junior.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct, Mike.
He was on.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
He was on our national team.
Was he?
That won the nationals and got invited to England with the Dream Center.
Well, that's quite a tidbit. Mike, I was not familiar with that.
So, and he is, from what I understand, he's now the youngest starting player in NPSL.
Well, that's very impressive. I think I may have seen that he's 16 years old, I believe.
Yes.
So, imagine the skill level you have to have. Chip through ball almost came to Mbakani. Hurley cut it out at just the last moment. Important intervention. That would have been quite a moment for Bristol Rhythm. But yes, our left back, Ariano, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, 16 years old. I believe he's going into his junior year of high school. And here he is playing semi-professionally, performing admirably. However, he overstepped there maybe. Baku with space on the right for Bristol. Diagonal ball curled into the box, headed away by Hurley. Langiel can't find a teammate with his pass, and Burlington have possession. Patno clears. Bristol City right back down the throat. Looking for a ball into the middle here on the far side. Nothing doing, so we'll swing it back around. Bristol City looking very comfortable in possession here. They're not in any rush despite being down the goal. Gomez Harris makes an intervention. Alana gives it away, put in a tough position. Maintaining possession for Bristol. Headed away by Hurley now. Battle in the midfield, and it's a sliding tackle. Wow. Both feet coming up from Kai Slynn. Referee issues a yellow card. So the first card of the game for Slynn. That's his first of the season. He now joins the club of 9 players on Bristol Rhythm with a yellow card this season. None more than Callum Hudson, who has 2. Every has 1. Rhythm on the attack once again. Low, dangerous cross. Patno came across, collided with the Bristol Rhythm striker. An honest challenge. Both players definitely just going for the ball. Hard to see who actually made contact with the ball. Looks like Bristol Rhythm's captain's talking with the center referee about the decision, which was a free kick Burlington United's way. Patno looks shaken up. I'm not sure if Burlington United has a backup goalkeeper available today. So you don't want to think about what may happen if Patno hurts himself. Both players back up and moving now. You can get a view now of Bristol Rhythm's captain. Looks like it is Kuil, the Isle of Man native. If you've never heard of Isle of Man, go look it up. It's a, like I said, a little island, part of the United Kingdom. Burlington United on the ball now. Valverde plays it out wide right. In the middle, beautiful turn from Thompson. Driving towards the center, plays it out wide. Alfaro offside. Nevertheless, the build-up play from Thompson is admirable. had his back to goal in the middle of the field, was able to make a play and find some space in the center. Good pressure here from Gomez Jerez. They call a foul. Bristol wastes no time starting things back up. Hobbling, however, is the Bristol Rhythm midfielder. All over the top now, Route 1. Good pressure from Trias. Wins Burlington United the ball. Alfaro trying to make a move, but he can't maneuver past the defender. I believe it was Suckling. Looking for the ball over the top once again. Here's Baku, the right back, loves to get forward. Being chased by Ariana. Ball high to the back post. Bounces in the box. No one at all was privy to that. Thompson, first time pass, beautifully done. Burden on the ball, tackled well by the Bristol Rhythm defender. I believe that was Langiel. Back out wide to Baku. Here's Flint. Langiel.
3v2, boys!
Langiel looking for options, doesn't have anything. Pass deflected by Jackson Marshall, and he will be ushered out for another Bristol corner. That's their third of the game. It's their third to Burlington United's 2. Neither team has been particularly effective from set pieces so far. In swinging delivery here from Langiel's left foot. Lined up at the back post. Our players in white. Floated. Headed by Ariana, the right back. Booted way back out of bounds. Not sure who had the last touch. Looks like it might have been the Bristol center back. Again, Bristol, I think, running a back 3 allows the wingbacks to sprint forward. Verdon can't find that ball forward. Nice idea from Jerez, but too much on it. You know, the stoppage for the water break in between the halves provides an interesting dynamic, especially for Coach Diego Walsh, who is concerned about the way his team switches off at times. Allows Coach Walsh an opportunity to reinvigorate his team. Perhaps allows them to stay mentally switched on. Cleared away by Marshall. Into the fans here on the near side. We've got, I would say, easily over 100, if not 200 here. Fans all bringing their own lawn chairs and lining up. I think a fair share of home and away fans. I see some purple and yellow checkered flags. Once again, Burlington United leading 1-0. Probably around the 35th minute of play here. It's the closing stages of the first half. Burlington looking to progress the ball. Early thought about a long ball to Thompson, did not pull the trigger. Here's Thompson. Back to the defender. Turns, fights through Baku, and drives into the center, looking for Alfaro on the right wing. It's Alfaro up against Mbakani. And Mbakani will win the goal kick for the visitors. So the ideas seem to be there. They're clear in what Burlington United are trying to do when it comes to making their way toward the opponent goal. However, Bristol has just been one step ahead for the most part when it comes to execution, especially on the defensive side. almost lost the ball there. Nice pressure from Alfaro on the Bristol defenders. Giveaway here. Opportunity for Burlington, not taken. And Bristol right back on the attack. Ambitious crossfield ball attempted by, looks like, Lewis Cole. And it seems as though we were closer to halftime than I thought. That is the whistle from the referee. And so we head into the break 1-0 in favor of the home team, Burlington United. This is the first time that they've carried a lead into the half, however precarious it may be. Bristol City have had plenty of opportunities.
Hold this. Keep talking on that.
Bristol City have had plenty of opportunities to make their mark on the game. Could have 2, maybe even 3 goals had they been able to apply the finishing touch. But Burlington United won't care about that. They've had their share of opportunities, primarily from Diego Thompson's foot. He did fire in the only goal of the game so far. About 15 minutes into the competition, he had another shot about 15 minutes later that was tipped onto the bar by the Bristol Rhythm goalkeeper Lumale. And much to talk about for Diego Thompson, the head coach of this Burlington United FC squad, halfway to potentially their first victory of the season, but lots still to go. 45 minutes at least of play still to be had. Bristol City still with plenty of time to find a goal. For now, we will take a break and we will come back shortly before halftime, where I will provide some tactical analysis from the first half before the second half commences. Burlington United 1, Bristol Rhythm 0. We'll see you in a few.
Really? Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink a lot of water, okay, buddy?
soccer forward in this area. Thank you.
Okay, one more time if you don't mind.
Gotcha.
Zoom in because that guy Junior, we had a tryout, Coach Armando, that they just gave an award to, was volunteering for us at the time. He said, you know, I think we've got some talented kids. And he was on that team. I forgot I'm live.
Yeah, everyone, the viewers can hear you.
Hold it a second.
Yeah.
Gotta get under here.
Sorry, folks, for the moving camera. We're filming on an iPhone and
Adjusting
dealing
in
with,
process.
yeah, sort of an impromptu setup. We're still trying to figure out the best way forwards here.
The show must go on. We want to make sure you guys don't miss a play. There we go. So, anyway, he they're wondering if they would have enough. 60 kids tried out. They made 2 teams. Took both of them to Winston-Salem for regionals, and they won in regionals. And then, so they got invited to nationals, which was, this was after 2 weeks of playing together.
They got to nationals after that.
And they went to nationals and dominated. They scored like 35 goals compared to 7 scored against them. Oh my God.
That's incredible.
And so they got invited to England. So they got to compete. And
I think you told me about this. They play with some Premier League teams. They train with some Premier League teams on some Premier League grounds.
the teams and the coaches got tours of the stadiums and got to compete. And they Europe usually doesn't look very highly on American football. And so usually when an American team goes over, they play their B team.
Yeah.
And we won the first 2 games against different teams, 3-0, 3-0.
Oh, so teams start being like, maybe not the big team.
So their coaches started calling each other and saying, these guys are for real. And so they lost the next one, I think 3-2, and lost the final one 4-3 in overtime. And I was cleaning up my gear. I was up in the tech booth, and the guy said, I don't know if you know this, but the team you just barely lost to are the Wales national champions.
Oh my God. That's amazing. What the hell? Incredible.
So,
what a story. Seriously, that's...
so now, like, out of those 14 kids,
Keep talking. I'm going to write.
out of those 14 kids, 6 of them have been playing with playing with MLS, and one of them made it to MLS next, so he was traveling nationally.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
And out of that was when Junior came and tried out for Burlington United. And they were concerned about him because of his size. Because of his height.
Yeah, he was small.
And but they called him for a comeback, callback, and he came in and they took him. So yeah, we're proud of him. And these are kids with great hearts. They come back and they serve in the community. They work at our camps and help other kids. He's just awesome young man.
Yeah?
And after he came back, he said, you know what, I'd really like to learn photography. So I started training in photography, and he's a beast. He's got his own business now. He goes around and teams, and he's as professional as just about anybody I've ever worked with. At 16 years old. 16. Yeah, I mean, it's like he's a 30-year-old man in a 16-year-old body.
In a good way.
Yes,
Sure,
in a
he means
good
in
way.
a good way.
Mentally.
Yeah, keep going at it, brother. Keep going at it. Who knows where he goes.
But yeah, look at his camera.
How you doing? I didn't have the starting lineup, so I'm trying to make sure I was able to see it. I was really struggling with names.
Oh, it's been at the field for a while. The next one's at the stadium. I don't know if it's something with Fusion or something like that. I think it was already booked when they confirmed the season. That's been the problem. The games that they weren't able to have in the stadium. The season was already booked before they started the team.
All right, fans, we'd like to invite you out to our next home game at McPherson Stadium in Bryant Park, located in Brown Center, South North Carolina. July 2nd, it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Our last home game is going to be an exciting matchup.
So that's why I came down to it on the monopod and see who's talking directly.
As we run out our inaugural season, stay tuned as we begin to
Might
start
have to
the
bring this
second
down.
half.
That's pretty good. Well, folks, we're just a few minutes away from the second half of this game, an MPSL Southeastern Conference matchup between Burlington United FC and Bristol Rhythm AFC. I took some time during the break to break down the starting 11 for Bristol Rhythm. It's a 3-5-2 formation. Umali in goal, as I mentioned. Hudson, Cool, and Suckling, the back three. Right wing back of Baku, left wing back of Mbakani. The center midfield trio is Slyn, Panner, and Langell, and a pair of strikers, Van den Velde and Cole. In terms of what Burlington United have to do in order to exert more control over the flow of play is find the spaces when Bristol Rhythm counter press. As soon as they lose the ball, they're trying to win it back with maximum intensity, and you have to play that ball across the field, that high and long pass, because that's where the open space is. It's on the other side. They're going to collapse 3 or 4 players onto the man with possession of the ball, which leaves a lot of space on the opposite side of the field. What that means is players like Hurley and Trios, those center backs, they have to be bold enough to play those diagonal balls to find players like Verdin and Alfaro, because they're bound to be open. On the defensive side, the difficulty is the overload of players. Bakun and Bakani, the wingbacks, they're able to push forward with the safety that the back 3 provides for Bristol Rhythm. That means you have almost a front 4 all coming towards the back line, and that's a lot of players to deal with. The responsibility is then on the center midfielders, Valverde and Marshall, to fill in when the wingbacks are trying to deal with the overload of players on either side of the pitch. Second half is underway here in Burlington, North Carolina. The home team, Burlington United, they lead by a score of 1-0, looking for their very first win in the existence of their club. 0 wins, 1 draw, 6 losses so far on the season. That 1 draw came in their very first game, May 10th. It was a 0-0 draw at Greenville United. This would be a momentous event in the history of Burlington United, but Bristol Rhythm looking to change the narrative. Square ball, Patno comes out well and intercepts. The goalkeeper sprawling, and Bakani was open at the back post. Well, there's a conversation being had right now between the referee and a couple players. Looks like Trios, the center back, is at odds with one of the Bristol attackers, trying to get a look at the numbers. I think it's Van Den Beld. Feels like he was tripped up by the center back. Nothing called. Hurley playing long here. Thompson can't compete with Suckling. Foul here by Burlington United. It's a free kick for Bristol. They're hoping for a yellow card. I heard the captain, Kuhl, pleading the referee for a punishment. Suckling, long diagonal ball. Underneath it was the left back. But it doesn't look like the left back is Ariano anymore. It looks like there may have been a substitution. Cute chip ball over the top. No one on the other end. Patno collects.
I'm going to try to get in the shade here.
Camera's moving as we try to position ourselves in the shade.
I'm just trying to see the camera better.
Let me move this table back. As you can probably tell, we didn't have a whole lot of time to test out and fiddle with this setup, so it kind of has to happen on the fly. Nevertheless, Bristol City back on the ball. It was Langell with a nice turn. Found Baku, plays the ball forwards. Cole sets it back, cross into the middle here. Hurley, nice play on Van Den Beld to prevent him from directing that ball towards goal. It will be a goal kick.
Thank you.
Of course.
So Bristol, even though they have had their fair share of chances and probably should have scored at least twice, they're still having an issue with delivery. A lot of their crosses not finding a teammate in the box. That also comes with the idea that they're not getting many runners in, maybe 1 or 2 on a cross. That makes it difficult to get on the other end when you don't have the numbers. So it looks like we do have a substitution, and it looks like Burlington may have changed their formation. No, it was just a temporary positional switch. on the far side. It's Bristol, square ball, easily cleared. Trias alleviating the pressure for now. Suckling carrying it forward. Chipped over to Mbakani. Pass not on target. That'll go directly out for Patna. Apologies, that was not Suckling, that was Hudson with the ball to one of the other wide center backs in this back three formation. Often serves as a back four. Mbakani goes forwards, Baku stays back, and vice versa. But there are moments when both of those wing backs come driving forwards, and it just gives so many numbers for Bristol Rhythm, and Burlington United struggle to handle that. Here's Mbakani. Into Cole. Cole carrying it down the line. Vasconcelos intervenes. Throw-in is for the visitors. Linesman communicating with his microphone to the center ref, telling him the call. No doubt in his mind. Throw-in contested. Burlington looking to clear, and that throw-in goes to Burlington United. It's off the foot of Cole. Backwards throw-in. Here's Hurley, and he just clears. Thompson was there, but he just couldn't outmuscle Kuhl. What a move from the captain. Kuhl. Nutmeg. What an effort this is from Kuhl. Incredible. And he wins the free kick. Tangling of arms. He plays it quickly. Referee allows it. Here's Langell. Well tackled. Jackson Marshall getting in the way. Marshall goes down, gets the foul call. So, a couple really important plays there from Jackson Marshall. First, disrupting the play for Bristol Rhythm, and then drawing the contact and winning a free kick, allowing Burlington United a moment to recollect. Jackson Marshall, a very interesting player for Burlington United. He's played in just about every game. He's played in exactly every game. He started 6 of 7 matches so far this season. He's got 5 yellow cards, folks. So in 6 starts, 7 appearances, he's got 5 cards. I'm not privy to the suspension rules of MPSL, but one would have to imagine if there is a suspension for accumulation of yellow cards, Marshall is very close to having to serve that should he get another card this game. Handball call by the referee allows Burlington United a free kick. Kuhl talking to the referee, very frustrated, doesn't feel like the calls are being made consistently. It is Gomez on the free kick, and he just delivers to Trias. Can Burlington possess the ball a little bit here and withstand the pressure from Bristol? Trias looks for the long ball. Thompson can't get on it. Hurley will collect. Pass into Marshall is off target. Bristol can capitalize. Great work from Marshall to slow down the play, and Burlington get back behind the ball quickly. Well done to prevent a counterattack. Jackson Marshall from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He plays in Lenoir Rhine University. This past season, Orland Wari played in 8 games and scored 2 goals in 228 minutes of play. Here's Thompson on the right side, looking to cut it back. Doesn't have much support. Here's Vasconcelos. Scored a beautiful free kick in Burlington United's last home game, did Vasconcelos. Curling effort with his left foot, crossing to the box to nobody. Vasconcelos is there. And once again, launches this out for throwing. As a reminder, in the last home game for Burlington United, it was a 3-2 loss. They went up 1-0 and then down 2-1, only to level it. And eventually, in the 95th minute, there was a penalty kick in favor of the visiting Charlottetown Hops FC, and they took the 3-2 victory in the end. Devastating blow for Burlington, who thought they were going to collect their second point of the year. And they were deserving in that game. If anything, you can at least point to improvement considering the fact that they had just played Charlottetown Hops a couple days prior and they had lost 6-1. So a 5-goal loss to a 1-goal loss. However, it's all worth the same amount of points in the end. And Bakani with Eric pass allows Burlington United to set up their attack once again.
Burlington, number 11, Moon Wappe.
On the topic of late goals, I was able to ask specifically about that aspect of Burlington United's game when I was talking with Coach Walsh, because it's been an issue throughout the season for Burlington United. In the last 10 minutes of games, in the 80th minute and beyond, Burlington United have conceded 9 goals this season. At least one in every game except their first, which was a nice result. So the closing stages have been a weak point for Burlington United. And when I asked Coach Walsh about why this was the case, he really said it was all mental. The team really struggles to close out and finish games with a strong mental stance. They seem to tire, both physically and in their minds. So he's looking to find ways to keep the team switched on until the very end. Hopefully that trend does not continue this game. At least that's what Burlington United FC fans will be thinking. As Gomez gets away from his defender. Nice footwork, draws the foul. Wow. Gomez maneuvers around Panner, it was. But Bristol City players are... Wow, folks. So Burlington United were setting up the free kick, and Bristol Rhythm players are claiming that he kicked the ball and that the ball should be live. Referee is not happy. A lot of friction right now between Bristol Rhythm and the center referee. I didn't get a view of the exact moment that Bristol Rhythm felt as though the ball was put into play, but it did seem as though Burlington United were still in the setup process. I think it's a bit ticky-tacky for them to be asking for that decision. Bristol have yet to really get going here in the second half. There was no doubt in that first half that they were firing on all cylinders. The only thing they were missing, of course, was the finish. But they're struggling to build out of the back now. Those long diagonal balls no longer available. Shot. Oh my goodness, what a save. A long-range effort from Thompson. Speculative at best, but that was angling towards the top left corner with pace. Lumale with an incredibly impressive effort with the fingertips of his right hand guiding that ball on the other side of the post. Unbelievable moment in Lumale keeping his team in this game. We do have a substitution that I want to report. I'll do that after the corner kick. It's low and doesn't get past the first man. Baku with the diving header. It's another corner kick. Gomez will take again. Only 3 players in the box here. Headed away by Cool. It's still bouncing in the box. And Marshall gets called for a foul using his body inappropriately. So substitution. Into the game now for Arellano is number 11. Number 11 is Rodrigo Gudino, so he enters the game.
That was another shot on goal.
Mike reports to me that I missed a shot on goal while looking at the numbers. You know, there's not a lot of consistencies when it comes to the numbers on the back of the jerseys. Here's Mbakani, he's in behind. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. The finish is eventually there, and Bristol Rhythm equalize. They couldn't really get going for the first 10 minutes of the second half, but the crucial moment does finally come for the visitors. 1-1 now. Back on level terms. The goal scorer for Bristol Rhythm. It was number 20, a halftime substitute by the name of Paco Alvarez. So the decision making by Bristol Rhythm at halftime making an impact. And all of a sudden, Burlington United's lead is gone. Feeling that they have become somewhat accustomed to. And now they'll have to start anew. Burlington United, they spent much time defending that lead and defending it quite desperately, but they no longer have that advantage. Walsh did mention that there will be many substitutes, perhaps all 7 of the substitutes being used, and we may be nearing time to make a change. But I asked about impact players in our pre-match conversation. Coach Walsh mentioned, of course, Clayton Verdon, who's been a player of immense influence so far in this team, despite how young he is, just 17 years of age. But the only other player he mentioned was a substitute. It was striker Brendan Lagana. He expects Lagana to make an impact when he enters the field of play. Feels like Lagana has been building in confidence. Scored a goal off the bench just last match. So that is one player to watch out for who's not on the field. Here's Vasconcelos driving. Mbakani makes a tackle from behind. What a play. Hustle from the left wing back, who's now looking like he's the left winger. Positional shifts from Bristol Rhythm are plentiful. Expansive play here from Bristol Rhythm, using all space in the field. Here's Kuil. Takes a look to his left, doesn't play to Suckling. Langell is the metronome of the game right now, sitting just in front of the back three. Langell. He's in no rush to go anywhere. Bristol know that they have control. Quick note on the substitute, number 11. I don't believe it's Rodrigo Gudino, who was a starting center midfielder in Burlington United's last home game, but I believe the player is different now. My records tell me it is Mwape and Siska. Foul called on Bristol Rhythm. It's a free kick for Burlington United. Mwape and Siska forward from Chapel Hill, North Carolina, making his 4th appearance. All of his appearances have been off the bench. His last time he played was June 11th. He was a substitute, played 22 minutes off the bench. Played for Triangle United 96.
Conference champions in high school play, and he made first team all conference in his high school conference in 2021. Short player, but he's quick, he's got technical skills. Throwing here for Bristol.
Suckling. Moving forward. Some friction between the Bristol players. I happen to be right next to the sideline so I can hear what they say. And I kid you not, as Suckling was deciding where to throw, he turned to his captain and told him to shut up. So clearly some frustration, and I can understand it because Bristol must be feeling that they should be leading this game. Long ball over the top. That will bounce through the Patno, who was alert. Marshall in the middle. Gives to the left back, a substitute, I believe, whose number I've still been unable to discern. Giveaway in the midfield from Burlington. Bristol looking forward, but Langyell's pass is cut out. Here's Gomez. Gomez to Thompson. Thompson with space. Looking forward for Siska. Couldn't find the pass. Now we go back the other way. High arcing ball over to Baku on the right side, but it had too much on it. Throw-in will be taken. I believe that substitute might be another new player for this Burlington United squad by the name of Landon Hall. I believe that was Hudson. It did go off of his left arm. Many fans were hoping for a handball call there. I think it was the right call by the referee to let that flow. It was incidental with the arm in the natural position. However, continued disagreements between some of these Bristol players, and it's affecting their performance on the field. The build-up, not nearly as crisp as it was in the first half. The passes just not quite on target. Speaking of Suckling looking forwards, it's into the hands of Patno, but it was offside anyway. Trias plays quickly to Valverde. Back out to Trias and now to Hall. Hall recycles. Bristol City sitting off now. This is a product of their high intensity pressure in the first half. As I mentioned, you can only sustain that for so long. Jackson Marshall was the trigger, however, and now they swarm. Well dealt with by Trias. Pat now back out wide to Hurley. Vasconcelos can't get by Mbakani, who has been such a pest so far this game. Still fighting is Mbakani. Suckling tackles it out of bounds. What a nice battle with Valverde that was. Substitution here for Bristol Rhythm. It will be an attacking substitution. Out of the game comes number 7, Van den Beld. He will be replaced. I'm waiting to see the number of this player. But it's a new attacker for Bristol Rhythm. It's a fresh blood. That'll help with their pressure up top. That'll provide a fresh set of legs who can run with renewed intensity at Burlington United defenders when they have the ball at their feet. Good hold of play from the substitute, but the ball's given away. If the numbers on the back of the jerseys are accurate, the substitute is number 9, Pedro Herrera. Herrera is a striker from Colombia, the city of Cali. He plays for King University, a Division II university. In 3 seasons, he played 45 games and scored 8 goals. Nice ball through to Herrera, but he couldn't get a clean touch on it, and it went all the way through to Patton. Here's Hall looking forwards. Ball down the line for Verdon. It's perfect. Here's Verdon with space. Cuts back inside, looking far post. Goes for the shot, and it's off target. So a spark from the home team, something we've yet to see all half. Verdon just looking to test the goalkeeper a little bit more, although Lamale has shown that he is very capable. I don't think one can blame Verdon for getting excited, finally getting the sight of goal for the first time in 20 or so minutes. Once again, it's Bristol on the ball. Burlington holding a line. They do not feel compelled to pressure Bristol's back line. Here's Cool. Langell. Back out wide. There's Hudson. Now it's Baku. Baku in the middle. Offside is the substitute Alvarez. He's frustrated. And all of that patient buildup for Bristol is for nothing. Valverde forward. Francisco does win the header. Here's Baku. Langell. Surveying the field for options. Back to Cool. Burlington United just trying to keep the ball in front of them and force these long passes that don't have a real destination. Kuo looking for the long ball to Baku, and he did not find the target. Bristol back on the ball here. It's Slint. Out to Baku. Alvarez into Langell. Looking to slip Herrera through, but he wasn't privy. Instead, Trias was. Alvarez, beautiful touch over Gomez, my goodness. Pass was broken up. And Gomez will carry forward. Gomez, the local talent. Coach Walsh was telling me how Gomez has been signing autographs for local kids and talks about how important the captain has been to the community building aspect of Burlington United, something that they hold very dear. No poke to Vasconcelos. Pressure by Mbakana. Gomez back to Hurley. And the home team will reset. This has been the best bout of possession so far for Burlington United this half. Trias sprays it out to Hall, who drives with pace. Into Thompson. He might shoot. He does. It's over the top. So easily the best passes or play from a complete team perspective, at least that we've seen tonight from Burlington United. And I don't think you can be terribly unhappy with the outcome. That was a shot on target. Sorry, it was a shot off target from Diego Thompson. Nevertheless, he had the space, and he's proven that he can score from that distance. Bristol City looking to make something happen. Herrera in behind. Shoulder to shoulder with Trias, who ushers it out for a throw-in. So Herrera providing a different look for Bristol City. Bristol Rhythm, I should say, up top. He's got a much bigger frame than Van den Velde. We've already seen his capability to hold up the ball with his back to goal. They can also get in behind. And Siska just misses on the interception. Suckling to Mbakani, who turns up. He's got plenty of space. Tough searching ball through a sea of bodies from Mbakani, who's trying to slip through now. Comes to Herrera, and he does not finish. What a clearance! Landon Hall gets there just in time. The pressure is still on. Baku crosses it in, and Patno will collect. And breathe. Tense moment as Burlington United were mere inches from going behind. The substitute Hall getting to the ball just in time as it trickled toward the goal line. Herrera robbed of a goal that would have put Bristol Rhythm up by a score of 2-1. Instead, we remain tied. How will Burlington United respond? Still every opportunity to take all 3 points. Give away from Marshall, but Patno was high off his line. Important play there from the Burlington United goalkeeper. Clayton Verdon with a nice turn, and he's in behind. Hudson breaks it up. Slynn plays out wide to the substitute, Alvarez. Alvarez looking across the field to Mbakani. Skims it off the head of Vasconcelos. Bristol looking to reestablish their dominance here. Slynn out wide to Langell. Langell and Alvarez switch spots for now. It's a fluid midfield for the visitors. Jerseys in white getting into the box. Here's Langell once again. Looking for a cut. Good defense by Jackson Marshall. Burlington United holding a tight defensive line here. No gaps for Bristol Rhythm to exploit. Once again, back out wide to Langell on the far side. He's squared up by Verdon. Reverse ball, and Mbakani is there. Beautiful combination. Alvarez looking for the shot. Off the corner. My goodness. Inches away once again from their second goal of the game. Bounces off the upper 90. Floated ball in. Patno comes out. It's bobbled. Herrera's on it. Tangled with Patno, and it's a penalty. Rough moment for the Burlington United goalkeeper. A floated ball at the outer edge of the 18-yard box. Patno goes to collect. He does get both hands on it, but collides with his defender. I believe it was Joe Hurley. And after the bobble, he found himself tangled up with Herrera, who went down. And you have to say it was a fair call. It was a lot of contact for Patno on Herrera, who could have easily turned and scored. Key moment here. Penalty kick. It looks like Langell will be the taker. Patno standing stoically in the middle. Langell with the left foot. Whistle blown. Here's the kick. And it's in. So Bristol find their second goal courtesy of the penalty spots. Langell, the number 10, the leader of this team, from an attacking point of view, gives the visitors the advantage, and now Burlington United have a mountain to climb as they find themselves behind again. Of course, it's the first time they've trailed this game, but certainly not the first time they've trailed this season. They've already given away a lead at home once before, and they're in danger of falling victim to the same narrative once again. We have a water break, folks. Perfectly timed from a Burlington United point of view, as they can now discuss their strategy for the remainder of the game. Having to fight back from 2-1 down. That's going to be a tall task, considering the way that they have not gotten forward so far this half, and really the whole game. Despite the fact that they led for probably 45 minutes or so, they really never felt as though they were in control. It was always Bristol Rhythm's game to lose, and they have finally pulled ahead. Still plenty of soccer to be played. Here's that crucial period of the game that Coach Walsh was referring to, where his team needs to switch on. The latter stages of the game, the final minutes, where it's most important for you to remain focused, to remain locked in, to remain present and alert on the field. Because one mental lapse can lead to a goal, as we saw there. Obviously, not all blame can be placed on one player. With that being said, especially with my own history of goalkeeping, I know that Patno is going to be harsh on himself for not catching that ball cleanly. Could have avoided this entire incident. This is a moment of adversity. Coach Walsh was very adamant about the importance of adversity. He says that's the only time that we learn is adverse moments. You have to be able to fight through that adversity and learn through it and make changes. What changes can Burlington United make? Both from a literal perspective in terms of substitutions and from a metaphorical perspective in terms of mindset. I think we have one answer to that question already. There seems to be a substitution. And it's exactly who I was discussing before. It's Brendan Lagana. He doesn't come onto the field in place of Thompson. He joins Thompson in the front line. It looks like we now have a front four and a back three. So it seems as though Vasconcelos was the one making way. So Coach Walsh will employ a back three of Hurley, Trias, and Hall. A center midfield of Valverde, Marshall, and Gomez, and a front four of Musiska, Lagana, Thompson, and Verdon. An aggressive decision by Coach Walsh, who is pushing for a point. High pressure here. Marshall wins the ball high up the pitch. Gives it away to Mbakani. Bristol can break. With the hold-up play, it's the striker. And I'm trying to discern whether the striker actually is Herrera or if it's another player who now wears number 9. I believe the striker is not Herrera, despite the fact that he's wearing Herrera's number. I believe the striker is actually Abu Sharif. Sharif, a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He plays at Mount St. Mary's University, where he scored 2 goals in 15 games played, 822 minutes. That Mount St. Mary's team did not have a strong season. They were 3-11-4. That was 8th in the Mid-Atlantic Athletic Conference, the MAC. Male, beautiful ball finding Mbakani in space. No rush, Mbakani gets stuck in the middle. Was number 12, Grayson Hammond, the substitute for Bristol Rhythm. Grayson Hammond, a midfielder from Kingsport, Tennessee. He also plays at Milligan University alongside Mbakani and Baku, as well as Kai Slynn. Marshall to Hall with a nice nutmeg. Hall making things happen. Lagana trying to play Verdon in between defenders. The pass did not make its way through. Here's Sharif. Sharif trying to push down the line. He makes his way around Marshall and into the box. Sharif with the square ball. What a pass, but nobody there. Incredible effort from the substitute striker.
Siska and Thompson combining now for Burlington United. Thompson has definitely been Burlington United FC's player of the game, just opening up their attack and finding space in between Bristol Rhythm's lines. Here's Verdon. Thompson. Thompson gives to Marshall.
Burlington United now firmly established in the attacking half. What can they do?
Valverde clips the ball. I'm not sure who that was intended for, but it's going to roll all the way through for a goal kick. Perhaps desperate to make a play was Valverde, but there was no runner to complete the end of that ball. So Burlington continue to search here as they trail 2-1 to Bristol Rhythm, a team who was trailing to Burlington United just 20 minutes ago. They've turned that all the way around and left Burlington on the back foot. Marshall and Valverde looking for options. Landon Hall, forward to Verdon. Diego Walsh, adamant from the sideline. Verdon, two defenders. How can he pull it? Wiggles his way out of it. Verdon looking for Thompson. The pass didn't make its way. Marshall with a nice footwork. He has space down the far sideline. Ball across. It's tipped out for the corner. So Burlington United finding some energy here. Finally creating some attacking play. However, they've got to find the breakthrough. It was a moment of brilliance from Diego Thompson and a half chance with a snapshot that provided Burlington with their first goal of the game. Who will be the player to take advantage of a moment for a potential second goal? Corner kick is low, doesn't beat the first man. Need a better delivery from that if you're Burlington United. You got to give your teammates a chance to make a play.
Thompson did not do that, and now Bristol can perhaps take advantage the other way around. It's Mbakani with the pace, and his ball is lacking. Outside of the foot pass with the right, did not go anywhere near where he wanted. It went directly to Patno, in fact. End-to-end play now. Energy really picking up here towards the end. Verdon attacking with pace. Leaving two defenders. Marshall now on the ball. Can't keep it. And still we continue with the end-to-end play. Mbakani here on the near side with pace. Asking for a foul is the center midfielder, Panner. Mbakani to Panner. And that looked like a handball, and it's going to be another penalty, folks. A truly unfortunate moment for the substitute, Landon Hall. Nothing he could really do. He came out to pressure Panner, who was slipped through by Mbakani. Really clever ball, chipped over the top, and it just bounced up and into the outstretched arm of the substitute. Incidental contact, but significant nonetheless. And especially in the box, you have to make that call as a referee. It's just incredibly unfortunate that it's going to come at the expense of the hosts. So another penalty kick opportunity for Langell. This to double their lead. Patno standing between Bristol Rhythm and a likely third victory of their season. Can he keep Burlington United in this competition? Langell went to the left the first time. He approaches for the second time. Goes to the right and it's in. Langell scores his second penalty kick of the half. You can hear the sounds of the Bristol Rhythm fandom. They've got bells and a vuvuzela, as well as plenty of reason to celebrate. Langell letting out his emotions on the field. And he's got a brace. It's 3-1 now in favor of Bristol Rhythm. Burlington United once had a lead in this game and now find themselves down by 2. Well, it's a cruel tale, and I can now tell you, unfortunately, after the fact, the handball was actually by Paparopas. He has been the substitute, the left back, number 21. I have to be honest, it really did just take that long for him to show his back to this side of the field, as he's all the way across on the other side. So it was not Landon Hall, it was in fact Paparopas, a player who's had significant impact on Burlington United in a very positive way. Unfortunately contributed to a goal against there. Burden on the far side, really nice slide tackle from the defender. I believe that was a substitute that I have not been able to locate. I apologize, folks. It's very difficult. I'm not provided any information on who goes onto the field and who wears what number, so I'm working all on my own research and my own eyes. Floated cross into the hands of Patno, who urgently looks for a passing option. Burlington United have to go fast if they're going to make a comeback in this matchup. Staring down the barrel of their 7th loss of the season. That'll keep them at just 1 point, squarely at the bottom of the Southeastern Conference table. Here's Clayton Verdon, creator for Burlington United, looking for Lagana, nothing there. You have to say, from an attacking perspective, you would like to see more movement from the strikers. Verdon weaving between players, creating passing opportunities for very static strikers. They have to move and make themselves available, find pockets of space, vacate pockets for their teammates. The chemistry's just not there. And that's maybe Burlington United's biggest issue in terms of attacking play, is the lack of link up. Attackers not on the same page. And that can only come with time and consistency. Burlington United have had neither. Like I said, in the first half, I think you'd be getting ahead of yourself to be pessimistic about where this club is at in the table. When you're establishing a club from the ground up for the first time ever, playing in the very first season, you're bound to face a variety of challenges. Verdon's pass is errant, but Cisco's there. They're showing fighting spirit. Ball over the top here. Marshall looking for it. He's offside. Molly collected in the end. Would not have mattered. I would say we're approaching, if not slightly past the 80th minute. Again, that's a pure estimation. There's no running clock visible to fans or myself or the players. Only the referee knows exactly where we're at. Tangle between Trias and Sharif on the long ball. Patno collects and gives to Paparopas.
We've been live for 118 minutes.
That's true, Mike. We have been live for that amount of time. You know, I keep thinking that I have to repeat what you say, and then I remember that they can just hear what you say. So, if my math serves me correctly, we didn't go live too long before the start of the game. So we are certainly in the closing stages, and the urgency is as high as it can be from Burlington.
But we did have a water break
That's
and
true.
halftime in there.
Yes, that's definitely true. I accounted for halftime, but I didn't account for both water breaks, which of course is standard practice for high temperature games. And this is certainly a high temperature game. It's a hot, hot evening, and it's only going to get hotter this upcoming week. A heat wave coming across the East Coast. Here's Jackson Marshall on the far side. The weaving run results in a corner kick.
Burlington United desperate to get something across that goal line. They need two. Bodies pouring into the box here for the home team. Center still black jerseys in and around. Marshall with the delivery. No one attacking it for the home team. Here's Thompson. Nice move to the outside. He goes down. No foul called. The cross from Marshall is going to trickle all the way out the other end. So throw in for Bristol City. Burlington United running out of opportunities. But they are pushing, folks. I think if you're Coach Walsh, you're asking yourself, where was this attacking play earlier in the game? Where was this urgency? Where was this pushing attitude? Burlington more passive for the majority of the game, allowing Bristol to control possession, unable to make their way up the field. And now that Burlington finally exerting their own control over the game, it's too late. Not definitely, but most likely. High searching ball looking for Thompson. It comes to Nziska. Space in the box. Squares it to Marshall just wide. Jackson Marshall desperately sliding. Can't direct it on target, and that is the final whistle, folks. So the match comes to a conclusion. It's 3-1 to Bristol Rhythm. We have a little bit of tussling at the center of the field between Trias and Sharif. Looks trivial. And Bristol Rhythm 8 points. It's a comeback victory for the visitors, who found themselves 1-0 behind at halftime. They put up 3 in the second half. 2 of those were penalty kicks. Langell depositing both of those into the Burlington United nets. Those goals alone would have been enough for victory, but there was also an equalizing goal. It was the first goal of the game. It was scored by the substitute, Alvarez. Burlington United's one goal scored by Diego Thompson. So Burlington United continue their search for their first points at home and for their first victory of the season. They will have to wait.
They had a point.
That's right. They did have a point for that first home game where I was not present to commentate.
I made a point.
So Burlington United dropped to 0 wins, 1 draw, 7 losses. They've got 1 point. Bristol Rhythm now are 3-1-3 with 10 points. That keeps them comfortably ahead of Greenville United. Greenville, who drew with Port City FC earlier today, 0-0. Nevertheless, it was a strong performance from the home team. They fought well. They fought with spirit. But the result was not on their side. Credit to the visiting fans. Bristol Rhythm. They showed out well with a lot of spirit. Burlington United FC with plenty of representation in their own right.
Wait. Hey, leave me out of this. No, you're part of it. You're part of it.
Thank you for joining us today.
You beat me to it. Thank you very much for bearing with us as we figure out this broadcast and viewing this wonderful MPSL game between Burlington United FC and Bristol Rhythm AFC. Once again, the final score was 3-1 in favor of the visitors. Please stay tuned with us as we have one more home game this season. But for now, we will say goodbye. Thank you very much and have a good evening.